Chad, this is a bit of a curveball we've thrown you. Last time we had you on Ignition GT, you were in the Subaru BRZ. We've got you back with another Subaru. It's not quite speed and sound, is it?
No, it's
Outback.
not. It's not. It's labelled as the Outback Sport, but sadly, I'm backing to see the sporty side of things.
I know, you're going to look at the one that I'm commandeering here, which is the very first time they've gone and put a CVT transmission into the Boxer engine. And it's obviously the 2-litre diesel. That's got the impressive scoop that you're going to immediately associate sportiness with Subaru. Run through then these very noticeable sporty features on the new S.
They've only changed a couple of minor things. They said that they changed the front grille and they're pretty much the same. That's now just a facelift upgrade that. Yeah. They've eliminated some of the silver trim inside and they've replaced it with a carbon effect inside. Works quite nice. I still feel that they're trying to be too German with it and missing the plot there. Yeah. And then of course it runs on slightly larger 18-inch wheels, and we've got body-coloured panels down at the bottom where yours has got the bare plastic pretty much bump strips.
So I mean the challenge for us is we don't really know the difference in price between the sporty version. I mean, I know the standard comes out at $409, but yeah, those things you've picked up, the wheels are going to make a big difference. But the confusing bit is that it's kind of, I suppose, going the route of like the Cross on the Polos, you know, where it's more about selling this lifestyle, like you are wanting to go somewhere. These cars go everywhere. They're very competent, very reliable. Now they're trying to create this vibe for the person who wants to go everywhere in town in a sporty manner. Yeah, not working.
No, not quite. I think that they've missed the plot there, but they're marketing it as a crossover for people that wanted an Impreza but needed a Forester. Yeah. You know, you want the space of the Forester, but you're wanting the performance of the Impreza. Sadly, you're not getting the performance out of this. You are getting a bit of the Forester sort of ground clearance from this one, the symmetrical all-wheel drive, that type of thing. But apart from that, not much else of it is really sporty.
It's funny because I mean for me as well, the Subaru consumer is definitely split down the middle. You've got the gold rim loving, ironboard wing fanned petrol head, and then you've got the really practical guy out there that makes sensible choices. And it really is a sensible choice. I mean, living in Durban, the Forester, the Outbacks, you see them all over because the guys are buying into that lifestyle. They want to be on the gravel farm roads, they want to strap bikes on the back, canoes on the roof racks. Hard to fault this car because you've got the Audi all-road that looks the part but doesn't have the ground clearance. You know, as you were saying, this car is going to take you places that, yeah, you might not imagine you'd go in a comfortable cruising station wagon.
And you were saying earlier, this is the first time that they've actually mated the CVT gearbox to the 2-litre diesel motor. It is the only diesel boxer motor in the world, and I think that works brilliantly. The CVT is a bit of a loss here. Yeah. CVT makes so much sense with the diesel motor.
It's incredible. I mean, you wonder why they've taken so long to go that tech. I mean, obviously we know the CVT is there from a fuel efficiency perspective. Diesel already efficient, but for me it's the torque. You know, they've got 350 Newton meters in this, and I think that is what makes the CVT start operating almost like a traditional automatic box in terms of the driving experience. There's none of that whining and you kind of feel like you're spooling in neutral.
Absolutely. They've come a long way. CVT is essentially a scooter gearbox. Yeah. And it feels that way in the Sport. Yeah. I'm sure that it makes more sense in the diesel though.
Were you using pedals when you're driving Sport?
I was forced to use it, unfortunately. While I was quick on the kick down, should we just be in the drive mode, you get those moments where I'm needing a little more than what this car's going to offer me on kick down, bang it down 2 gears to overtake, that type of thing. Yeah. We're sitting with 123 kilowatts on this one, 229 newtons. That's not bad, but when you're carrying around this much cow skin and electronics and a heavy CVT gearbox, unfortunately out of the water.
Well, I'm glad you said about the heavy CVT box because that's obviously a big change. I mean, the diesel before was running with a 6-speed manual. So with that weight of that CVT box, they've actually had to make a few revisions to the steering, to the suspension. I know they've also gone and fiddled with their torque split, their converter on the all-wheel drive system. So they've made a couple of changes underneath the skin as well to compensate for that. But this really is a fantastic package if it's practicality you're looking for. When you flip the seats down in the back, it's cavernous. And even with the seats up, you can still get a full boot in there and good legroom in the back.
Yet it's not the size of your big X5s, X6s, that type of thing, real big players, the full-blown SUVs. It is still a crossover, so it still drives and handles like a car. Going back to that suspension changes and the tweaks that they've made, it does, it makes a world of difference. Yeah. Even with the heavy nose in these cars, the handling is still absolutely sublime, superb.
It's scary, the chat, because you're going to get a South African consumer, it's going to go, oh, it's all wallowy, it's all whatever, because they're almost used to the German highway brawling SUVs.
Or barnstorming.
Exactly, but on our roads, you actually want something that is compliant. And I mean, you take this on gravel, that all-wheel drive system, immense, but just your ride quality and comfort, it is car-like with the raised skirt. Nice.
It is. You've got, like you were saying earlier, about the ground clearance and that. So yes, the slight off-road excursion, the trip onto the beach, doing something of the sorts, it's going to handle it just fine. Both of them will do just fine. Around town, yeah, a little out of place.
So Chad, fair to say that we're not going to find too many of your Speed and Sound readers cruising the highways and byways in an Outback?
Unless they get to that point where priorities change, I highly doubt it. I cannot see it. Naturally aspirated 2.5 litre boxer motor just doesn't have the get up and go that they still want out of a crossover SUV.
But if you are practical, if you are sensible, you're all about lifestyle, seriously, even at 460,000, which is pretty steep, the Outback in the diesel mapped with that CVT box really works well, and it's a very solid competitor.